Broncos country, before this podcast started, when I went live at halftime, I was 34 years old. And I am currently now 54 years old because that game aged me 20 years in probably the most improbable fashion. The Broncos find a way to get the most improbable victory. I cannot believe it. I'm at a loss for words. So I'm going to pass the mic off to my man, Jeremy. Jeremy, just try to sum up the insanity of this game.
All I got to say is, on your halftime stream, somebody was saying, what happened to the Mile High Magic? And you responded by saying, it hasn't been here for a long time. And and Sean Payton and Bo Nix and the defense and everybody else on that field said, hold my beer. We still have some Mile High Magic left for DT, for the freaking reunion, the comeback. I don't know.
Bro,
you lost 20 years. I gained 20 years. I feel like I'm so.
No, I gained. I started off. Yeah, I lost. What I'm saying is I lost it. So I feel like now I'm just confused. But dude, you talk about, and the craziest part, I kind of got chills about this. They showed like I don't know if it was Demaryius Thomas's family or something like that. And I was just sitting there like, what an abysmal tribute to him. And we were down 19 points at that point. And after that, we stormed all the way back. We scored 33 points in the fourth quarter to win the game. It's
a record for the Denver Broncos. Never scored 33 points in a game in the fourth quarter before.
It is just something that, you cannot make it up. You cannot make it up. What a crazy game, dude. Like we could talk about it for 5 hours, but when you're talking about the game in and of itself, up until the fourth quarter, probably the worst Broncos game I've ever seen. Like even through the Hackett era and all that, like it was brutal. What are your thoughts on that particular part of the game?
I don't know what was going on. You would think with all of like the trash talking and all of the, pregame like bulletin board stuff going back and forth, you think that they would be up for this. You had the ex-players in the building. You got, their honor in DT. You have been on the road for 2 weeks. Like you would think you would be up for this game. And it kind of felt like the defense was early, and then the offense just could not get out of their own way. The same story that's been happening all season, drops and freaking penalties and God knows what. And it's just like, once the Giants got that touchdown, I think almost the defense kind of settled, like rested a little bit, and it felt like they're like, well, I don't know. And yeah, it was just looking so ugly. I don't understand what it is about this team, and Elway was the same way. So but why do we have to wait until we absolutely positively have to have it before we do it? I don't get that. But
I don't get it.
The fact that we can do it and have done it now in like 2 out of the last 3 games, shows you have it in you to do it.
It's so wild, man. It's almost like, why can't they just learn that when this team plays in the no huddle and they play free and they kind of go quickly, like that's what works? Because the thing is like you can make the argument, oh, Giants were in prevent. They never played prevent defense. They were never in the prevent. And it was almost like all it did was take like a very lucky break to get the touchdown. And then the football gods were like, no, screw you guys. They get the luckiest touchdown you'll ever see. In fact, that touchdown by Theo Johnson on the deflection swayed the game. It was almost it was like 46% Broncos favor. I was watching the tracker, all the way down to 3%. And at that point, I'm like, dude, there's not enough game left. There's not enough time.
Right.
And then we end up going down and scoring. I said, the only way we even have a semblance of a hope is if the defense gets not just a turnover. I said a defensive score. And they basically got that with the interception. Which is like, dude, I was waiting for it to happen. I'm like, it has to come. Came at the most opportune time. We score again. Now, I'll say this, like, kudos to the Broncos for doing, like, the 2 2-point conversions were massive.
Totally.
Massive. Like, you're talking about how abysmal it was for 55 minutes of this game. But, those 2 2-point conversions ended up being huge. And then at that point, it was just like,
difference.
What the hell is going on? It is not a game. It is not a game that it's those once in a lifetime types of games. I can't recall a game like that for the Broncos in my lifetime. to be honest with you. Like to that level. Like you've had a lot of really crazy big wins and comebacks. Nothing like that. That was absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, I just got text from my buddy Jeremy, and he just said that was, let me read it. That was an Elway fourth quarter. That's what it was. Anybody who is old enough to live through that era, that's what we came to. Like, you never say never. And that was the old school Mile High Magic where you just don't know, and just things have to start going your own way. There's so many negative things. But you're so right. When they got that their last touchdown, not their last touchdown, the second to last touchdown, Theo Johnson, my wife came home. She was sitting in the living room with me, and she goes, you know what happened? And I just go, we just lost. We just lost off that play. We had a good chance to come back, and now there's not going to be enough time, and we're going to run out. And then, dude, Justin Chernod, what a play he made to flip it, because like that was the momentum. It felt like even stadium felt it as soon as that happened. Because if you would have batted that down and they punted there, we probably still don't have enough time, whatever. But that was like, oh shoot, I think we were back.
Well, yeah. Well, and even then it's like, okay, you have to score.
Yeah.
And then you have to get the 2-point conversion. And then you got to get a stop and get the ball back. And like all these things had to happen. And they happened. Like, yeah. I mean, absolutely insane. It was insane stuff. I was telling you, like when they had the Theo Johnson deflected pass touchdown, I wrote in a separate group chat. I literally said, listen, like it's comical that had, because we got lucky and then the football gods like basically evened out the games, which happens a lot. But I'm sitting there like, you know what? It's good because this team deserved to get their ass kicked. That was with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Yeah. And they did. I mean, up to that point, they absolutely did. But something flipped, man. I don't know what it was. Like I said, I just feel like DT was cheering on, yes, the Broncos, and things were going in our favor because it was unbelievable. It really was.
Yeah.
But holy hell! And shout out to Mike in the UK right now. I just put his comment up, man. Heck. Shout out to you in the UK right now. 1 a.m. That's awesome.
Yeah, Mike. That's how you got to do it, dude. Like you got rewarded for staying up, and now because of the way you win, if you're anything like me, you're not falling asleep for another 2 to 3 hours because like you just can't.
Yeah.
But no, I honestly like that was just one of the all-timers. It was an all-time win, and what a great day to do it. Like when you're honoring somebody like that, and just to never give up. And what I loved about it was like, even when we had to have it, Bo Nix, remember I remember him throwing, he kind of dumped it to Troy and he missed him, and he just laughed, and we're down like 10 at that point. And he just looked at Troy and he's like, oh yeah, that was my bad. I thought you were going to, and he's like, he was so calm. And I was just like, bro, I feel good about where we're at. Like, and I thought they were going to try to steal that. And man, what an absolutely clutch. Mims making that catch on that last drive, and then Cortland making that catch on that last drive.
Yeah. Mims is clutch, man. Mims has been killing it.
He didn't even look for the ball. I don't even think it was meant for him. He just happened to turn his head at the last second, and it was in his like chest. Yeah. And he just made the catch.
Yeah. No, insane, man. I mean, it was crazy to see just Bo go to work. Like it's like a switch flipped in him. And it's almost like he knew, if we're getting this ball back, we're scoring. We get this ball back again, we're scoring. And I mean, I thought he played as abysmal as his entire offense was. I was texting my brother-in-law, and I was like, dude, if you're even thinking he's the 10th guy on this list to blame for the way that this game's going, like it's crazy, because he's absolutely wasn't. But then everything just flipped. I mean, like I said, I'm just at a loss for words. The Broncos find a way to steal another game. But that being said, man, we cannot keep playing like this or living like this. Like it's not normal to be, just a really, really bad football team or like an elite football team. We have to find some semblance of balance. Where does that start? And like, does a game like this even help in that? Or do you just feel like it's going to elongate some of those issues a little bit more because we got a miraculous win?
To me, honestly, like if you guys remember, like right when we signed Peyton Manning, we did not start that season well, and we were losing big against the Chargers. And it took like a Peyton Manning second half rally to come back and win that. That was probably the last time I felt like this, was when we came back. It was 2012, I believe. And that was like the start of the Peyton Manning era. And it was like, okay, all of the weird, can't get on the same page, who's like the leadership, that all solidified in that one game against the Chargers. And this is the type of win and comeback that I think can do that for this team. I honestly do, because the defense obviously is going to be big and they're going to play well. But like, if you're a defender there's a point in that game when you have to look on the other side of the field and just go, or on another side of your team and being like, what's happening? Like, we can't do this by ourselves. We can't win these games by ourselves. You have to help. And for the offense to be able to play like that and come back and win it. And then even with that, like, drive that the Giants had that went down and scored, to even come over that, like,
it's insane.
It's like, it's finally the offense saying, we got your back.
Yeah. And about time.
I honestly think this is one of those games that like can gel everybody and just like, okay, figured out what we're good at, figured out what we're not good at. There were so many mistakes. I don't know if that was like a destiny thing. I don't know what. There's so many drops. Yeah, it was so frustrating. I was expecting to have, just for a little background for how we do this, I created a thumbnail in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, fourth quarter. I already created the thumbnail where I'm just like, we're depressed and it sucks and the Broncos struggled in all three phases and blah, 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 blah. And then right before I hit the send, I was like, well, I'm just going to let this play out. And here we are. So, it's just, I don't know. The next game or two is going to tell you a lot, but I do honestly feel like anybody who had the Bo Nix, like, I don't know how good he is, that kind of feeling, like, he just scored 33 points against the Giants in the fourth quarter in the most clutch situations you possibly can. I don't care. Drew Lock never going to do that. Russell Wilson, all those people were never going to do that. He was clutch when he needed to be. The defense, they came with it when they needed to, other than, like, I don't know. To me, that was a bad call, but to never blink. That's mental toughness. I always remember Mike Shanahan would always say, when you beat a good team, when you don't play your best and you still figure out a way to win the football game, that's a sign of a good football team. And to come back against Philly on the road and then to come back in a game that it had to be, I don't know the odds, but it had to be 99-1 that, like, the Giants were going to win that game at some point during that fourth quarter,
I think somebody actually sent a text about it. It was pretty insane. It was, let me see if I can find it somewhere. Yeah, it was at one point, dude, I mean, there was 99.9%, 99.8% that the Giants were going to win the game at two different times within the fourth quarter.
99.8?
99.8.
Wow. At
two different times. And both times they overcame it. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, there's this text here, right? How does Bo Nix look so bad through three quarters and like Superman in the fourth?
Yep. Yeah,
I was having this conversation with my brother and my brother-in-law in a group chat that we have, and I tell him, I was like, I know I sound like I'm overly defending Bo Nix when I say this, but I'm like, guys, you have to understand, like, the smallest little things make the biggest difference, and a lot of it, like, if Bo Nix is hitting somebody in stride and they drop it, or if somebody runs the route incorrectly, like, yeah, it's easy to blame the quarterback, but he hasn't really been bad for many games. Like, I feel like the last 4 or 5 weeks, Bo Nix has played very well. He's played within himself. He hasn't turned the ball over. He's hit the important ones. I mean, yes, you're not going to be perfect, but there's been so many external things that have been happening that have been screwing the team up. And so it's like, it's not just he's all of a sudden gets good in the fourth quarter. It's that the offense just starts to click.
Yeah, things
just start to get going, and that's the result of it. Like,
yep,
the guy can beat you with his legs. He was so excited to call that quarterback draw too, man. You can tell, like, he looked at Sean. He was like running the same play because I think it was a 2-minute warning, and he took off.
That's right,
and scored
that's
there.
Right.
And like it's almost like he knew, man. He's like, we're getting man coverage, but that's the thing. It's like he's got it in him. I mean, he's got 3 fourth quarter comebacks, I think, already this year. He obviously has the it factor, which is extremely important. But again, this team has to be able to hone things in and be more consistent, because this is the least sustainable type of winning that you can ask for. So,
Yeah,
but
no.
I mean, shit, we'll take it, bro. Unbelievable.
But like I said, though, like this is one of those games that's just like you can honestly, hopefully, a year, 2, 3 years from now, look back and go, remember that Giants game? That's where it all started. Because finally, everything, when your back's 100% up against the wall, and not only was it back against the wall because you're down by a lot and you come back, but then you give up another lead and then come back, is like, you
it's unheard
tested
of.
twice. I mean, you had to basically have everything go right in that fourth quarter to win. And then you give up a touchdown drive. And look, and there was a part of me like, I don't understand. We should have had 2 interceptions on their last drive, and we knocked it out ourselves by trying to like intercept it. Pat Surtain wanted to have one, and he was mad that 2 guys jumped in front of him. Talanoa, Funga, and Jones were going to have one, and they jumped in front of each other. And it was like, and then to call the penalty and then for them to score, I was like, if you lose this game after coming back from that deficit and having 2 balls in your hands, it will be the most devastating loss of all time.
Totally.
But
Totally.
I love the fact, there was a part of me, and I'm a huge Bo Nix fan, as everybody knows, but there was a part of me in that game, we texted about it, where he missed Troy down the sideline, another overthrow. And I was just like, bro, you got to start giving your guys opportunities to catch the ball. That is just not going to do it. And when we absolutely positively needed it, he hit Mims on the back shoulder,
Beautiful.
bro. And it was like, that's it right there.
Yep.
I felt like we were on the cusp of clicking for so long, and finally it happens. And it just felt like nobody was stressed. I don't know. I guess they got it out. I felt like maybe they just were like, we got nothing to lose at this point because we should have already lost this game. I don't know what it was, but Peyton was so pissed going off that field at halftime. And then like the third quarter, you can just tell he was so hot, but man.
Yeah. I mean, and understandably so, but like, okay. I'll say this too. Like, I've been a big defender of Sean Payton and his play calling. Today was abysmal. Today was clearly bad, in my opinion.
It was
because for me, it was like, there was not like, when you're looking at the Giants and the way that they play defense, there's no reason to think that like you're more athletic than them on the outsides. It's like, if I always said, if you're gonna have them, if they're gonna play you man coverage, you want to be able to beat them down the field. That's where I saw an advantage, and he was consistently just doing the same stuff, very, very side to side. And I didn't like any of the plays. The first goal line opportunity that we get was awful. We had a great run on first down to JK, and then we tried to do a trick pass to Bowles, and yes, it was there. Ball got tipped. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, run the ball twice, both times. And they did it on third. And then on fourth down, he calls a wide receiver screen, which is on the 2-yard line, which is like incredibly stupid. And it was so obvious that it was going to happen. So Sean Payton needs to really look himself in the mirror, because this was an awful, awful play calling game by him. I mean, they won because the Broncos just went no huddle. And Bo was like, we're just going to run whatever the hell we're good at running. And that's what they need to do a little bit more often. But man, oh man, what a crazy game! If someone tells you the Broncos are going to score 33 points in the fourth, I mean, you just won't believe it. The fact that it even happened, and the team stats are crazy. We've made it a habit this year, man, of like playing in the craziest, weirdest, most like unorthodox games, and it's fun. It's fun because a lot of the times we've come out on the winning end of it. But holy moly, lots to clean up. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious what Sean said about this game and what Bo Nix said about this game, and we'll see how we'll see if they're able to stack it. But that's 4 wins in a row now, 5-2. We are at top of the AFC West in sole position now, in a game that we stole. So just keep in mind, guys, these games usually, I mean these games, like you can say, okay, you can say we stole the Philly game. You can say we stole the game against the Jets. We kind of got lucky. That offsets the 2 losses that we had that were basically stolen. So now it's like, when's this going to come back and bite us? It might at some point of the year, but we need to be better. Ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah, to me, it's like you never apologize for winning, especially in the NFL. Every single win, I don't care who you're playing. look at the Bengals are back all of a sudden. Like, we looked like the Bengals were dead when we played them, and then now they're back. So you just never know. You never can underestimate an opponent because honestly, it felt like maybe a little karma, like, hey, maybe let's don't start just talking. I don't think that was like that big of a trash talk personally thing, but like, when Benito's going after their fan base and then like, Cooper's just bringing up something for no reason. It was like, well, maybe you're getting your comeuppance a little bit by like, just be like, hey, you didn't need to say anything. Just say we respect them. They're playing really well. And, it's going to be a big test for us. Just say, I mean, I know it's boring, but like, that's bad juju. And they, I think they got punched enough to be like, okay, well, they made plays. Scatterboo made plays. Dart made plays. And thank goodness our defense was legit. Like Zach Allen made some big plays. I don't understand. I think this, I hate to say this, but like, I feel like this game was horribly officiated. But
yeah, it's a huge problem in the NFL, and honestly, it's league wide.
Yeah,
it really is. Like, there's some things you see, you're just like, dude, what? Like, you should be able to review every call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that I think eventually they'll get there, especially with like technology and all that, and the way that you can just flip it up to like a review. But I mean, it's pretty abysmal. But the fact that we were able to overcome that and get a game like this, I mean, it's one of those things where every single thing has to go right for you, and it did. Like it did. It starting with the first touchdown, right? Like the deflection, and then Franklin's gets it, but then that gets offset with their deflection for a touchdown, which is way more. That one was way more hurtful because that was on third down.
Yeah.
And they were going to punt it if they didn't. Right. Whereas ours was on second, I think. So we still had a couple opportunities. And to be able to still overcome that is insane. And then overcoming the Riley Moss, the awful call on Riley Moss, and then Sean Payton running out on the sidelines losing his shit.
Yeah, I don't mind. But at that point, I didn't blame him. I was like, he's seeing this getting. It wasn't the ref. Sure. It wasn't the ref that like was standing 3 feet from the guys who were actually playing that called it. It was somebody across the entire field that called that against Riley Moss. So he's absolutely losing his damn mind because he feels like you're just gifting them a touchdown or giving them the ball at the 1 or 2. I guess. I mean, it's just like you cannot make that call. I'm sorry. And if you go back and look at it, Riley's looking back at the ball, not even like touching the guy.
No, it wasn't even 1%.
In the side of the body. And I'm like, bro, this is insane. If the Broncos would have ended up losing that game on a call like that, I mean, we'd be beside ourselves because it would be like, you can't do that. Like, what are we doing out here? But to be positive though, I want to give that let's go, let's get some shout outs to people who played well. Tyler Bidet, dude. I felt like he came in and gave us some juice. I love the way that he like energized this team. He came in. There was one where we did hit a little dump off and it was like third down and he broke a tackle and then dove for it, knowing where he needed to get. And I was like, okay, keep feeding him. He played well. Dobbins finally got going, but man, I felt like Tyler Bidet today was the spark that we needed.
Yeah, I thought Bidet was one of the highlights in a very low light game for 55 minutes. Yeah. I thought, because I was thinking about this too. Like I was in such like a depressed state of mind at one point. I was like, all right, we're gonna go through like some positives and we have to pick out some guys that played well. I thought Q Robinson was awesome today, dude.
Yeah.
I felt like he was everywhere. I loved how he was playing in the run game. He was rushing the passer well. Like he played a lot more than I anticipated. I thought he was really good.
Yeah.
And so, a shout out to him. But again, I mean, dude, Bo Nix is a killer. I mean, he was a killer today. 2 rushing touchdowns, right?
Yep.
2 passing touchdowns, 4 total, no turnovers. I mean,
none even close. I can't remember even one that was close.
No. And again, it was just like, it's just one of those things that you'll never be able, like you can explain it to your wife, you can explain it to your kids in the future or your kids now, and it's still something that you're just like, I don't know how we won, but we just did. Like everything that we needed to happen happened. And again, we got really lucky. Let's face it. I mean, we did a lot of things well, but the Giants also gave us the tiniest glimmer of hope by all of the mistakes that they made. I knew that when they missed the first extra point after they scored a touchdown, it's like that's probably going to come back and bite us in the ass. I didn't think that in the fourth quarter, but I did think that during the game. And then he misses another one, and then they missed their 2-point conversion attempt, and like all of that had to happen in order for us to be able to get it. And finally, dude, like maybe it was the altitude that actually got the Giants defense exhausted, because I was tracking the total plays and I was actually shocked. Even when we were down 19 in the fourth or 18 in the fourth, we had ran more plays than the Giants, which was really surprising to me. So I think it got to the point where they were just starting to get gassed and they just couldn't, they were faking injuries. They couldn't stop us. So
sometimes again, you take your foot off the pedal, you know, like at that. Yeah. I think once that Theo Johnson touchdown happened, sometimes mentally you either give up or you say, we're good. And if you lose that edge mentally, it's really, really difficult to kind of reset and get it back. Like if you walk into a fight and then you think it's over, it's hard to like ramp back up. And they came in for a fight, and kudos to them. They played really well. I didn't like certain things that happened, you know, officiating wise. I think that like they were gifted some stuff, but like, you know, that's not on them. They're not making the calls. They're trying their best. So like, you know, good on them. But like, somebody's going to probably try to blame their kicker for losing. And it's like, you gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter. Like that, the kicker had nothing to do with that.
I would blame the kicker for sure.
I mean, he's a big part of like,
part of it. You know what else I would blame too? They made a lot of mistakes. So to kind of recap, whenever I'm like watching the Broncos, I try to say, okay, if I was a fan of the other team, how would I be feeling, right? So that's why at half, as a Bronco fan, I felt like, dude, we played horribly. And the fact that it's only 13 points, and, you know, it should have been at least 13-3 or 13-7, but I was like, we're lucky. And then when we were going down, so after we had scored, we were going down for our second touchdown. There was like 5 minutes left. And I was like, man, if I was a Giants fan right now, I would just want this game to end. Like, it's probably Giants are still probably going to win, but they're probably just like, dude, can this game just freaking end?
Yes.
But where they really messed up a lot too, man, is like, I think it was the drive. It's crazy how many drives there were in the last 2 minutes. They had a drive. We were down 3, and they had a drive to go down, and they called like 3 passing plays. One of them was incomplete. And then I think they ran the ball, and we called a timeout. And then they called another pass play. And it's like, why? Why are you like? I was happy that they did that. But I was like, dude, they don't realize what they just did, because they gave us at least 2 plays to run before the 2-minute warning.
Yep.
So it was a lot of like, I don't know if it was them just panicking or trying to be like, hey, we're gonna try to keep our foot on the gas pedal. But it's always the little things that you need to be able to do right, and they didn't. So we'll take it. We will absolutely take it.
You know what game that reminded me of was the Atlanta Falcons Patriots Super Bowl. When you're up 28-3 and you just don't play smart, and things start snowballing, and then you like maximize the snowballing by like not doing correct things, like by passing, doing all these other things. And I thought about that too. I mean, you got Scatterboo, you have Dart, like run the ball. You had Singletary, like run the ball, I try to, but you know, they kept trying everything deep, like, and honestly, like there was a couple of plays where Dart just misses people, but like if he hits those, like they're backbreakers. But this is like how we've been living with Bo Nix, like against the Chargers. Bo just had to hit one of the 3 like deep balls, and we win that game, and they're just off the fingertips, you know. And you it's kind of like in basketball, you live by the 3, you die by the 3, and they were just shooting threes out there, and they just they got cold, and that's what happened.
Yep. No, it was wild. I forgot to tell you before the stream, I got to keep this a little bit shorter today.
Sure.
And I think it's probably a little bit better because there's just a lot to take in. But man, this is obviously it was unbelievably exciting. I haven't had a rush like that in a long time. There was another game. Actually, I remember exactly which game it was. It was the game Peyton Manning in 2012 against the Chargers when we were down 24-0 at half. Yeah. And when we won that game, I was like, I wasn't even excited. I was almost like still kind of in a world of shock. And that's exactly how I felt today too. Like I was like, holy hell. And I kept preparing myself like, hey, if we end up losing this game, I'm not going to blame this. I'm not going to blame that call or anything because this game was lost in the first 55 minutes. Somehow we ended up winning it. But it's unbelievably exciting, but it's something that we just cannot continue to do.
No, I mean, if anybody's going like, this is a blueprint to win, no, of course not. Of course not. But this is one of those games where it just shows you like what you're made of, because almost every single other team would have packed it in and said, well, today's not our day. The ball gets tipped up. Theo Johnson goes for a touchdown after all this other stuff happened. And you're just like, well, that's how I felt. A part of me was like, all right, I guess we're losing and this is not our day. You know, growing up in like the 80s, 90s era with Elway, I never, ever felt like we were out of it until like it was completely, there's no way. But I always felt like there's a chance. And I haven't had that in, you know, since Manning, but like usually we weren't, you know, he wasn't known for his super big comebacks. He was just a smart player that we'd win. But yeah, that's what this felt like. It felt like an old school Mile High Magic, DT smiling down, things got to go right. And nothing was lucky. I mean, it was earned. Like, yeah, you could say like maybe the Troy Franklin touchdown was like fortunate, but then they got one that was even more fortunate.
Exactly.
So like, you can't be like, oh, well, they smile. You know what I mean? Like we made plays, like people made catches. Ingram played well, like Strenad making that, like you just didn't blink. And kudos to Will Lutz. We've had some bad situations with Will Lutz at the end of games and pressure situations. I was like, come on, Will, you got this, bro. You got it. Just kick it down the freaking middle.
And he did.
He did.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, and just like you said, like that long completion that we had on the sidelines to Mims, the back shoulder, that was a 3rd and 11. Didn't blink. He didn't even care.
Yeah.
Boom. Went and got it. Then we had another one to Sutton. And then, you know, Evan Ingram breaks a tackle and takes it up the sidelines. And there's like so many things. Like I'll have to rewatch this game because I feel like there's a lot that I forgot about it. Or it's like it all was tangled into this literally 5 minutes of the game, like 20 minutes of real life. That was insane. I mean, the game went almost 4 hours with a 2:05 kickoff because it was just like the craziest last few minutes. Absolutely insane, man. Unbelievable win. And I'm so happy that we got to go live on the post game in a positive manner because I was prepared to like come on here and get pissed and cuss up a storm and vent and talk about how like we're going to lose to the freaking Cowboys next week too because we suck. Like we can't, you know, we blah, blah, blah. And it's like crazy what a win can do and just flip the script. But there's so many screenshots, so many messages that were sent across all of the different group messages that I'm in that are just like hilarious to go back and being like, dude, like it was unbelievable. Oh, I kept telling my brother-in-law, I had like we were at his house on Friday night, I think. And I was like, I kept thinking, I just had a feeling the whole week it was going to be a blowout. And I was like, bro, the Broncos, we're going to score over 30 points. And he's like, you're crazy. This offense sucks. And he texted me right after halftime, right after we went 3 and out on our opening drive. And he goes, remember when Mark said that they were going to score 30 plus points? And jokingly, I responded, is the game over yet? ? But in my head, I'm like, yeah, there's a horrible take. Right. I went back and screenshotted it. And I was like, dude, holy shit, we just scored 30 points. I was like, there it is. There you go. I told you. We just didn't do it nearly in the way that we had anticipated.
Yeah.
So crazy, man. Anyways, we'll be on. I'm gonna wrap this up, man. But thanks for joining in with me. If you have any last second thoughts, I'll let you say them. But we had well over 60 people on this live chat. So thanks for tuning in with us. Be sure to catch us tomorrow on Horsepower Hour because we're gonna have some incredibly funny stories from the thumbnails that some people have put in, and there's just a lot of funny stuff. So be sure to, tap into that one as well, because we're gonna have a lot to go through. But any final thoughts on your end for the listeners?
I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming in. I mean, to experience a game like that, this is one of those ones that you're gonna remember for a long, long time, hopefully. And man, that's why we watch football, right? It's like movies, film. I mean, I went to college for film, and you know, you can't write real life better than like real life. So football and sports, that's what it's drama. And for as many as negative and nasty and bad as I have felt like Christmas Eve a couple years ago, or certain games, or in the playoffs against the Bills, whatever it is, these are the games and the feelings that you got to think back on and go, this is why I watch. This is why I'm a fan. You earn the good times, like being dedicated during the bad times. And that was one of those that everybody that stuck with it, I'm sure there's a ton of people that left the stadium or turned the TV off.
A lot of them did. They were reporting on it. A bunch of people left.
Or whatever. And it's like, that's the people that stayed. That's why they earned it. And the people that stayed watching. And that's, it was absolutely incredible. And, I'm just so proud of the way that they like stuck to it and were mentally tough. And it's just such a blast to be able to like be a Broncos fan and then watch a game like that and then be able to talk about it and then talk to people in the chat and just have this like vibe of like, can you believe that just happened?
It's crazy. So, it's like, that's why, golf is such a good analogy for life. Cause this game reminded me of playing around a round of 18 holes of golf, right? You're just shit the entire day. You're spraying the ball. You can't hit nothing. You want to break your club. And then you have that one perfect, like pure shot. Maybe you get yourself a hole in one. It never happened to me yet. But I can envision like that's the kind of feeling. And it's those like amazing feelings of like having that perfect shot that keep you coming back to playing golf. That's why I love football, man. And it's a great time to be a Bronco fan. We'll enjoy this all week. And hopefully we can have a lot more wins, but a lot more chill wins and dominant wins than what today was. But Jeremy, I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for tuning in. And everybody in the chat, you guys are dope. Y'all take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Drink some wine or tequila or get a massage or whatever you need. Because y'all deserve it, man.
Yeah.
Peace out, y'all.
AFC West leaders right now.
Let's go.